Chicago, 1871. A city in ruins, but out of fire came opportunity. New technologies, new ideas, and one architect ready to redefine what buildings could be. His name, Louis Henry Sullivan, the father of the skyscraper, the man who declared, "Form follows function." Sullivan saw architecture as a living art. A building, he believed, should grow like an organism, from its inner life outward. As he wrote, a proper building grows naturally, logically, and poetically out of all its conditions. At a time when America looked to Europe for inspiration, banks dressed as Greek temples, libraries as Gothic cathedrals, Sullivan pushed back. He wanted honesty, no imitation, just buildings that looked like what they were. America needed its own architectural identity.
Sullivan was working at a time when American architecture was defining itself in relation to design traditions of the past.
As historian Robert Twombly observed, Sullivan was an artist whose medium was building, a poet whose materials were stone, brick, and mortar. For Sullivan, architecture should not imitate the past. It should express its time. But was Sullivan's vision too idealistic, too uncompromising? Kenneth Frampton argued that Sullivan's poetic idealism often ignored the economic and social pressures shaping American cities. Twombly also suggested that an insistence on pure functionalism left little room for the symbolic or cultural roles architecture can play. And Sullivan's own life revealed the cost. His groundbreaking ideas gained him respect, but not a steady income. He died in poverty, unrecognized by the very profession he helped redefine. His vision was powerful, but perhaps too far ahead of its time. Sullivan's brilliance wasn't just in his thinking, it was in how he designed. Every project began with sketches, exploring organic and geometric forms inspired by nature. Branches, leaves, spirals, ideas that grew into structural and decorative elements. He rejected ornaments that were merely applied for beauty. Instead, decoration was integral to the building, emerging naturally from the structure itself. Columns, windows, cornices, all were part of the logic of the building, not an afterthought.
Louis Sullivan was a man of passion and ingenious. What Sullivan was all about was playing with human emotions in light, in space, in movement, in the ornament. That's why people remember and are impressed by Louis Sullivan's buildings today. It's as much about what you don't outwardly see as what you physically see.
The Chicago fire of 1871 didn't just destroy the city, it created a rare opportunity for architectural reinvention. Surrounded by train lines and Lake Michigan, Chicago couldn't expand horizontally. The only way to grow was up. This geographic limitation, combined with rising commercial demands, set the stage for the revolutionary skyscraper. But what truly transformed the skyline was the steel frame construction and the passenger elevator, innovations born from the Industrial Revolution. Suddenly, taller buildings were not only possible, they were practical. Sullivan saw the potential of these technologies not just as tools, but as opportunities to reshape American architectural identity. To him, a skyscraper wasn't merely a tall building. He famously wrote, "The skyscraper must be every inch a proud and soaring thing, rising in sheer exultation." The Wainwright Building in St. Louis turned Sullivan's theory into reality. Commissioned by Ellis Wainwright to house his brewing empire's offices, it perfectly shows his idea that form follows function. The Wainwright Building's steel frame allowed it to rise taller than traditional masonry buildings while staying strong and lightweight. Vertical windows repeated across the facade, letting in natural light, a practical solution that came directly from the building's purpose. Sullivan organized the building like a classical column, a base for retail and street-level access, a shaft of repeating office floors, and a capital housing mechanical systems. This wasn't about imitating history, it was a logical way to express the building's function. Even the ornamentation was purposeful. Terracotta designs rose naturally from the structure, inspired by plants, highlighting the building's verticality. Every detail, from the elevator placement to decorative motifs, emerged organically from the function. Louis Sullivan redefined what architecture could be. For him, a building was alive, a reflection of its purpose and of its time. It wasn't about copying the past or adding on decoration, it was about honesty, purpose, and expression. His vision was sometimes too idealistic, and often too bold for his time. Yet his skyscrapers set the stage for modernism, influencing generations of architects after him. The Wainwright Building remains a monument to his belief that architecture should be rooted in purpose, not tradition. Today's skylines, from Chicago to New York to beyond, still echo Sullivan's idea that buildings must be every inch proud, soaring, and alive. More than just steel and stone, they are proof of Sullivan's enduring theory that form should always follow function.